Hello there, everyone, and how are you guys today? Well, we would just like to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. Now,
Hello, my sunflowers. How are you? Well, I hope everything with you today is copacetic. Well, this is Friday and we made it to a Friday. So whenever time you hear this or see this 50 years from now, it was done on a Friday. And not only that, it's fall. So the sun is shining. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. And I hope you have a beautiful day as well. But what we're talking about today is, or what I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to be talking about the Menendez brothers. And I want to know if it's fair for them to be free. Now, I'm starting to be able to talk about what I want to talk about. And I hope in my conversations, I don't offend anyone. Okay. But the reason why this case is very important to me is because it leads me to the Diddy case. So you say, how? Because with Diddy, they say he can't get, what is that? He can't go home on
Right.
bail. He can't get no bail. And I'm not, this is not a yes or no, but I'm just going to pull out some things that I just want you to know. And the reason why I'm using the Menendez brothers is because there was a murder involved, right? So with that, and with him, this is about trafficking. So two different things. They accusing him of that, but that's not what Diddy was arrested for. Am I right, baby Crone?
Yes, you are
He's
right.
not arrested. He's not for beating up Cassie. Has nothing to do with it. Has to deal with him trafficking.
Yes.
Am I right? Is there anything else? And also those parties.
Yes.
And
drugging.
drugging. That's what this is about. So in the Menendez case, it is about two young boys. I don't really look at them. They're young in retrospect, but it isn't like he was 15 and the other one was 18. No. What were their ages?
21.
The oldest one, his name was what?
Lyle.
Lyle was 21.
Yes, and Eric was 18.
So, and this is the thing. Now, from what I gather from AI was, and what I seen on TV and all of that, is they took their they took their mother and father's lives because I don't know why the mother, but I know they took the father because it is alleged that he was molesting them or taking them. Either he molested them or he racated them. Okay, so either he racated them or he took them. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, in a course of time, I believe that the older brother persuaded the younger brother, who was at the time 18, to take away. Now, with all that being said, with Diddy, I'm just trying to look at the parallels, okay? Now, this has nothing else to do with Diddy other than that for me. Now, with the Menendez brothers, let's ready to get in it?
Yes.
Now, with the Menendez brothers, after they slaughtered their parents, they went on and lived 2 months. 6 months. They lived 6 months living their lives, buying, having parties. They was doing it at 18 and 21.
Mm-hmm.
Then they felt guilty. So they confessed. I understand one confessed to his psychologist, and the other one, I understand, if I'm right, confessed to his lawyer, if I got the story right. But one thing AI said, one of them did confess to their therapist. And after they were told and convicted, they had 2 months. Am I right?
They got convicted 2 months after the confession.
They got convicted, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
2 months after their confession. So it wasn't like Diddy where he got convicted and got arrested that day. No, they didn't do that.
No,
they raided his home.
Mm-hmm.
They gained the evidence.
Yeah, they probably gave him 6 months.
They probably gave Diddy what? After the raid, that was probably 2 months after the raid.
Okay.
Same thing. So, but the kicker is before they went to trial, it was 4 years before it went to trial. And understand that may be the same way with Diddy.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so much involved. Like in this case, and this was just over their parents. But here you got trafficking with Diddy. You got all these other things. So this trial can go on for 4, 3, 4, 5 years, right? And in the meantime, where this is going on, those boys was held.
Yes, they were.
They were held. So that eases my mind because after they found the raid on Diddy, I don't think they arrested him until 2 months later. Can you find out the raid on that? So when they raided him and when he was arrested, because to me it's ethical. I want fairness, and that you understand.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I have been so thirsty.
All right, so March of 2024, his house got raided.
March. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And when did he get arrested? March. Well, he just got arrested, a month ago. So that was March. So that's April, May, June, July. Was he arrested in August, September?
Yes, September.
So, okay. I get it. What do you think, baby Crone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, March, February, June.
From the time that they raided Diddy's home, right?
September. Yep, September was 5 months.
5 months.
Mm-hmm. So 6 months.
6 months. So they're being fair.
Mm-hmm.
They are being fair, and the Menendez brothers didn't get out on bail either, did they?
No.
So it's fair. All I wanted to do, I wanted to go and search that out. Was it fair? It is fair. So anything that Diddy wanted to do when they raided him, he knew. Diddy knew he was in trouble. Just like those Menendez boys. They knew that they were going. They knew. They had still 2 months after the confession.
Mm-hmm.
To get away with it, right?
Yes.
And everyone that knew them, they were acting normal. They were acting, but the younger one or one of them the younger one couldn't handle it because I think the oldest one persuaded them. Now, in saying all this, now we're getting into this case. When I look at those Menendez boys, they look crazy. To me, their eyes don't look normal. They look, I don't know, like, I don't know. And maybe I shouldn't be judging them, but they look weird. Not weird. That's not a word. They have eyes they just look empty.
Mm.
Like an emptiness. Like somebody that could do that. You know, one of them eyes look way more sinister than the other, but they both have this look about them. They have served 40 years and now they're up to be free. The question is, should these boys be let free? Because they have served for 35 years. They say that they were young. One was 18 and one was 21 when they did this. Now they are how old? I think one is 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, right? No, they don't serve 35 years. What I'm thinking about. Oh my God, how old are they now? They in their 30s? 40s?
Whew. Jesus, you're right. Lyle, the oldest, is 56.
35. Oh, right, because he was 21. So 20, 30, 40. Oh, 20. So yeah, 30, 40, 50. Yeah. Yeah. And the young boy is?
Let's see if I can get his age. 53.
Yes, I think that is fair. If you're going to empty it out with everybody. But remember, they have lawyers. A lot of people, and they come for money. So a lot of people that are in prison right now have nobody to take their case. Mm-hmm. They don't have money like that. So they have to spend the rest of their lives in jail. right?
Right.
So, but the thing is, are they going to get free? So let's find out the Menendez. And first of all, I want to look at their mental. The first thing I want to do is look at their mental, and then after that, we can ask questions about that.
Okay.
I want to know: are they stable? Are they mentally to come out and walk with civilization and not do anything to hurt anyone?
Yeah, that's something you got.
Oh, did I shake? Did I shuffle these? I know I shuffled them before the camera.
Yes, I definitely.
I shuffled them and
Well,
shuffled
on camera, I can't remember. If you
well, I'm going to do
them.
my 3 because I've already shuffled them.
But that is definitely a fair question to ask about anybody that takes somebody's life. Are you mentally stable to integrate back into society?
Mm-hmm. I want to know that. Are they mentally stable? Because those boys look hollow in the eyes to me. That may not be the word, but it'll come to me one day. And when it does, I'll tell you what it is. That was the I think that was the King of Pentacles.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just shuffling. This is for you because they already been shuffled. See? They already there. All righty. Here we go. Flip. Oh. Let's see. Are they ready to go out? Are they ready? Let's see, cards. Talk to me today. Here we go. The Menendez. We're going to get 1. So I already see. So when I see this, so should I do 1 for each of them?
I think so.
Okay, so we're going to do the oldest boy first. So let me reshuffle, okay? Since that's unfair. So let me go and do it again. If it shows up again, then
yes.
So the oldest boy is the oldest boy is what?
56.
No, his.
Oh, he's a Capricorn.
No, he is the oldest
Lyle.
boy. Lyle, thank you. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is Lyle. Crazy.
That is crazy.
It showed up again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's Lyle. Lyle is the King of Pentacles. And when I see the King of Pentacles, these were wealthy boys. So I don't know. I think they have wealth and business minded. And I don't know. I just think that the oldest boy, I think it's money. I think because of money, they are able to get out. Money is affording them this opportunity. Because you see the King of Pentacles, and that is money. So money is doing it. So they must have had lawyers working on this case for for 35 years. And this is money doing this, right? Mm-hmm. So let's see about the young boy. How old is he now?
53. Eric.
The oldest one is
56.
And the
53.
53. It just seems like upright, divine love. It just seems like he's really a good person. The younger one seemed like he's ready to start a new life. Seemed like he's really learned the lesson. He seems that way. But the oldest one, he still seems like he's about business. He's about, maybe going home, taking over the business. He's still about money, where the young one is about family and love and peace and harmony. 2 different personalities. The oldest one is a what?
A Capricorn.
And the youngest one?
A Sagittarius.
That would be typical to be thinking about family and love, just want a family, just want peace in his life. Where the other one is ready to go back into business and make money. Okay, let's see what's happening to them. So I definitely see right now they are bound. They are bound, both of them. They are bound. They don't know what to become. They feel as though they're going to be getting out. But right now it's like they feel it, but they're not quite sure. They're not quite sure if this is going to happen. When you like this, you have negative thoughts. You don't know. They want to be free. They have served 13 years and they want to be free. So here again, on both sides, they both feel trapped. They both feel in flux. They want out so badly. They really do. In his head, do they feel remorseful? I feel as though he's getting out. I do. I feel like this kind of energy that they have. I think they're ready to move. They're ready to move on. Maybe he learned his lesson. Maybe get on with the family business. I don't know, but definitely see that. Other one again, I see money. I see giving. I see that they're ready to move on. They're ready to get out. They're ready, and it looks like they will be getting out. However, the oldest one, it seems to me, he wants to get out. I think this is affecting him. And you know how you want something so bad that I think that it's making him jittery, nervous, waiting, hoping. This is how bad he want to get out. So right now, what I see with these boys, both of them, but it is a happy outcome. The cards are saying that they are going to get out, whether I like it or not. The card saying that there will be a great celebration between them and someone else. So they will be getting out. But in the meantime, in between time, these boys are stressed. These boys are wondering, hoping, waiting, anticipating. They believe they're going to get out, but the cards are definitely saying they're going to get out. And I definitely see new beginnings for them. So they're definitely going to be getting out. You can, according to my cards, it is definitely a done deal. Yep, the contracts, everything is done. Those boys are getting out. The papers are signed or whatever. I definitely see them coming out. I see a death card and I see a victory. I think the death is they are very remorseful. I am saying this because I really was against them. I didn't want them to get out. I really didn't. I wanted them to stay in because I feel as though so many other people can't get out, but because they come for money, they get out. But the cards are saying that they were young. And I don't know how you're young, but you know right from wrong. So you served 35 years. So do they deserve another chance? I don't know if they deserve another chance, but I do know that the victory card saying that they served their time. Here's the death card. And here is the victory card. Here is the new beginnings. These are baby Crone, what do you call these? You call these influences?
Yes.
The influences around them are definitely saying that they're coming out, they're novice at it, like they're going to be new, but they really doing it. It looks like they're going to get out. It looks like it. Like I said, what I say is allegedly, but the cards are speaking right now. These boys cannot even concentrate because they are so excited in being free again. Really. Baby Crone, you have a question.
Yes. I was wondering about.
Did that help?
Mhm.
They're going to be free. Their mental statuses, one is happy and the other one is really out to really deep and thinking about businesses, what he's going to do. So yeah, I really do. Yeah. They're going to get out. They're going to get out.
Yes. I was wondering. Do we ever get the answer on if they're stable enough mentally?
Are they stable? The cards are saying yes. Family legacy? Yes. I mean, yeah, one card you see that it's emotional and I feel like they feel like, yeah, I mean, financially they're secure, but it just seemed like they feel like we served our time, and we were young and we grew up. We did what we were supposed to do. And so, yeah, they looking to get out. They looking to get out. They're looking forward to it.
Yes.
Did that help?
It did.
That didn't answer their mental status.
Yes, it did. That they look like they're ready to go back into the world.
They reckon to go back into civilization. Mm-hmm. They feel like they learned their lesson. I definitely see money. I definitely see money, and money. And the places where money. So it's like something around us has to deal with money and these boys getting out. This has to deal with money for these boys getting out. And like, even though when I see that cup, it's like we doing whatever we got to do. We paid our dues. We did 35 years of our lives. You know, we came in here at 21. No, right.
At
At 21
21.
and 18, we served our life. All we want to do is go back out there, be productive, get into our family business, make better citizens, make a better life for ourselves. We have learned our lesson and we're ready. This is what I see. We took our parents' lives because the death card did it. But we asked for a pardon. We asked that we be set free because we didn't know what we were doing. And at the time, I'm channeling. Here we go. I hear the young one say, I didn't want him touching me anymore. They both were taken by their fathers. That is true. I don't know if there was any, I don't know, you could bleep it out. I don't know if it was involved. I'm getting a sense that it was a violation. I also sense that they were very afraid of their father. I'm getting a sense that their father was abusive. I'm also feeling that their father was a strong man. I don't know these people, but their father was very, very strong, very strong, and very determined. And he just seemed like he was the type of man that ruled their lives. But I get a sense that he was proud of his boys. And I get a sense that he loved his boys. And he wanted them to be fine men. But he took his boys. And out of the abuse, a part of me is saying, I don't know if it was of the raking or the molestation. It was the abuse. And it was like the cover up of it all. It was like the hiding of it. The acting, having to act normal. Having to act like everything was okay. Having to act like nothing's happening when you're afraid of your father. And at the time, the oldest one seems like he wanted to protect the younger one. And I don't know if it was the younger one or the older one or both. But I just feel like the older one wanted to protect the younger one. And when they did it, it was like it was the hardest thing for them to do. And I think the oldest one was able to handle it. But the youngest one, it was so much for him. I think mentally he just had a breakdown. And even though they went out rioting and everything, he couldn't handle what he did. He was being haunted by it. And he figured if I tell somebody, he'd be free. So when the younger boy went in, he went in like, I deserve to be in. I don't even know if he did a lot of it, but he didn't say anything. The older son was the mastermind of it. I saw that. What do you think of that?
Yeah, that sounded good.
That's what I get. I feel more coming. Why should you be free? We were young. And I just feel sadness. Like if I can get my brothers back, I would. If I could take them back, I would say I'm sorry. I wasn't thinking. We just wanted it to stop. There was the abuse. He must have was abuse. I hear him saying he was a monster. He was mean. He was mean in the privacy of their homes. But then when it was around other people, he was loving. And they're saying he did love them, but he was mean. He was a hard dad. They feared him. They feared their dad. And I feel so sad for them because, especially the youngest one, they didn't know what else to do. Any question?
I think I got my question answered out of that.
What was it?
Because I was
That's
wondering.
what I'm getting. I don't even.
Because you briefly mentioned that earlier. Because you was just like, I'm not sure if they was taken by their dad, and I was just like, well, could have that been an incentive for them to want to do this?
Yeah.
And maybe now they just want to live their lives free because they still feel bounded by the situation.
Yeah, they absolutely go ahead, absolutely, and they feel like they are sorry, like they didn't know what else to do. They felt like they were victims, and it was like no hope. They said my father is a powerful man. He a big man. I don't know what big is. I don't think big as in fat, but big as in maybe a not a tiny guy, but a guy with muscles. I don't know, but not fat, but big. And not only that, had a big personality. And not only that, he knew a lot of people. And their father was into things. And they were rich, and they didn't really, and they grew up where you don't talk what's going on in the family, so they didn't know who to talk to, where to go, so they took the matters in their own hands because they was afraid. Anything you want to say to that?
No, that summarizes it well, and I would think in that sense, yes, it would be fair to set them free.
Yes, in that case, how bad, tell me by your energy, how bad was the abuse? They just saying he was cruel. He was stronger than them. He can overtake them. And he didn't do them together individually. And it was like, I hear him saying, talking. It's the things that he would say. It was supposed to make them better. He justified it. Even though they didn't like it, he justified his behavior. What about the mother? Why did you take your mother? I hear because she was just as guilty, because she did nothing. She knew. And she did nothing. And I hear one of them was very close to their father. I mean, very close. One was close to the father, but I just see one. I think it was the young one. I feel like he weeps his mother. I feel like even to this day, he's sad about the life of his mother. If there was one regret, I hear him saying, I don't know why we had to take mom. Why couldn't we take dad? But at the time, and at the time of the killings, it was like we had no choice. We had to take them together. It was too much. My mom would have never sat quiet. It was loud. It was taken by surprise. They were shocked. The looks on their faces, they were horrified. He said, but it was I'm getting quick kill. I'm getting a sense that did they stab him? Look it up. I'm looking at blood. I have no idea. I haven't seen the movie. I'm just looking in on it, and I'm reading this freelance, but I will after I do this to see how accurate I am. But I'm feeling as though it was a stabbing. I don't think it was a gun, but it could have been because I'm looking at the blood. It just looked like it was a bloody scene. So was it a stabbing or was it
Shooting?
a shooting?
Mm-hmm.
Which one was it?
Shooting 13 times.
That's what it was. Because I just see
There goes
blood.
that number 13 again.
That number 13 again. I felt it was something that caused a lot of blood. I know stabbing caused a lot of blood. So that they had shot 13 times and nobody heard that. So that let you know they in a big house and they isolated.
You're right.
Right? So I see blood. Blood was everywhere. Now I want to go in and I want to know after we did the killing, it was like a blood rush. It was like a sacrifice. It was a feeling of feeling free for the first time. It was a bloody mess, but we felt free. I never felt free. I felt the oldest one is saying I felt free. It was like a rush, that you took care of something. You did it. You finally did it. He can't mess with us no more. And I get the oldest one saying to the young one, I got you. You ain't got to worry about that no more. And I see the young one is shocked. Shocked. So what did you do? Did you clean it up? Look this up. I don't think they cleaned it up. You left the blood? Was any blood left? Did they clean up or did they leave? I get the feeling they tried to act like it was a murderer. They tried to act like, am I right? They tried to act like it was somebody else did it. I have no idea. I'm just reading this. They act like somebody broke in or something that did this. And it was so hard for the people around them, like all the friends who would even think of these boys, because the boys appeared to the world or to the family and friends that the father, they were the apple of his eye. He praised them. He loved his boys. I don't know. Everything I'm saying is allegedly. He praised them. He loved his boys. But yet behind the scenes, he was a monster. He was very, very strict and meticulous. He was a perfectionist. He expected great things from them. He was always grilling them about how they got to take the family and raise the family. And yet on one hand, he's doing that. And on the other hand, he's abusing us. So I'm sorry about that. My phone rang, and that was a phone call I had to take. But anyway, let's get back to it. So like I said, that's what I picked up. I don't know what I said. I don't know what I talked about because it's gone. So do I need to go back in, or did you find any information while I was on the phone?
Yes, I did. It says that after we found out that their parents had been shot 13 times.
So it wasn't a stabbing, but the way it was done, it just seemed like it was fast. Like, you know how you do a stabbing, but it was a shot. Did they shoot them all over?
I could find out more about that.
I want to know, because I seen it like a bloody mess, like somebody been stabbed.
Too. I said I would assume that too, because 13, that would just be too much for one shot. I would think it would be, who knows? They could have lost all sight of reality, and that's why there's too many shots. But
who pulled the trigger? Both of them? I'm getting the oldest boy. The oldest boy was the mastermind.
That I'm not sure if we'll ever be able to find out.
They probably won't ever know
about that.
Who pulled? I get strongly the oldest boy was the mastermind. The oldest boy had it the worst. I get the sense that the father had it more with the older son. He wanted more. I don't know. Everything I say is allegedly, but it just seems to me that the oldest boy, the father, expected more of the oldest boy. He wanted more of him. I'm getting a word. I don't know. Were they jocks? I don't know. I'm feeling jocks. What else? The father was a perfectionist. He wanted perfection from his boys. And so touching them, I don't even understand how you could want the best for your boys overly, but all at the same time you touch them to break them. I don't understand the father.
That's the type
what is the name of their father?
Jose.
What's his last name?
Menendez.
Jose Menendez. It was done to me. It was done to me, and I was told that I was loved. I loved my boys, but it was done to me. And I was all right. It was done to me. Do you feel regret? When they came in, it was like they were napping. It was like a bum rush. And it's like when they came in, it's like, what's his mom? Menendez. What's his name? Jose said he was so shocked. Nothing was so fast. It was so fast. He said, I couldn't do anything. And everything that I did to those boys, it was right there before my face. And I knew that I was going, and I was just hoping that they wouldn't take my wife. And then it was over. I knew I treated them wrong, but I was okay. And they would be okay. Tough love. I didn't know they would take her. I think they killed the father first. I don't know if it was a spray, because it just seemed like it was done cocky, like a bum rush. Like, when you go in and it's like it was like in slow motion. It's like, and they were geek. They were geek. They were geek. They had planned it. It was the opportunity of a lifetime. And they just bushed in. It was so much, it just seemed like a stabbing, but it was a quick shot. Their father owned guns. Did his father have a gun collection? And they just knew and they just sprayed it. So once you did that, what did you do after it was done? What's the youngest boy?
Eric.
Eric mentally broke. And the oldest had to get them together, and they left and had to get their stories together. They went riding and riding around. They didn't party. They just went riding around. They just had to go and just release the oldest one. How did you feel? He felt like he was free for the first time in his life from the shackles and the pressure of his dad and the abuse of his dad. He felt free, but the young one is feeling regret and remorse. Like, why did we have to take mom? Why did we have to take mom? I get the feeling that the youngest one was closer to the mother. I just feel like he just loved his mother, but he didn't want it. But they had to do it because she would have talked. If they were separated, but they took them out together. And I don't know. I don't know if they both had guns. I don't know. But I know that the young boy, it was too much for him. The oldest wanted out. They both wanted out. But I feel like the oldest was close to the father, and I feel like the father expected so much out of him, and the pressure, it was the pressure of the oldest one. But for the youngest one, he had the tender loving of his mother, but he had the pressure of his father. I deal with the inner souls of people. It was a mess. It's like, this is the best way I could describe the scene. It looked like it was done at night. It looked nighttime, like it wasn't done in the day. It was like done in the night, like a robber, like it was a robbery. And I'm getting the feeling that my father had enemies. And I'm getting the feeling that their father did some things and wasn't always fair. So for somebody to come in and kill him, it wouldn't be a bad thing. It wouldn't be something that nobody would say no. That didn't happen. But why did you all go and ride this living? Because that was the first time we were free. Can you imagine being around all this money and you're limited and somebody's telling you what to wear, what to do, how to do, what to do? They never felt free. So for 2 months, the young boy was like, it was never freedom to me. My brother, he always fussing at me and telling me to be strong, but I couldn't. I had to tell. I had to tell somebody. I couldn't. I was scared. What about your brother? He was strong. But I was weighing on my brother. If I would have been strong, and then they was asking questions, and they asking questions like, we tripping, we answering, we kids, and they tripping us up with the questions, and they knew we did something, but they couldn't prove it, and they kept asking and asking questions, and over and twisting, and then we weren't normal, and then we were trying to be normal in a not a normal situation, and we're trying to act like everything is okay, but it wasn't, and I couldn't help it. I had to tell somebody, and I trusted not. I had to know. I was sick. I was so sick. I couldn't eat. All the freedom, I couldn't even fake it. The money, the freedom, it didn't mean nothing. After a while, it was just terrible. I had guilt. I was guilty. I was so guilty. And when I finally told, I just felt relief. But I couldn't bring my mom back. I couldn't bring my dad back. It was over. I couldn't do it. So if you felt guilty right now, why do you feel free? Because I understand we were kids. And I know that I am so sorry. And I have to live with that for the rest of my life. The oldest son, how do you feel? What's his name?
Lyle.
Lyle. How do you feel? You see that king? Is it a king?
Yeah, there's a king.
Okay. You see that king? I want to run the business. I want to show my dad that I can do it. So you just want to get back to your life. Is that it? I didn't like my dad. I hated him. He was mean, intimidating. Around others, he can appear to be so nice and loving. But he expected greatness. He was like always looking for us to be perfect in everything we do. See if they were athletes. And I felt like my brother had it better than me. My baby brother. But we were all we had. My father was funny about friends and things and us like that. He was funny. It was like he wanted us to himself. He wanted us to be what he wanted us to be, especially me being the oldest. He wanted me to be the guide for my little brother. And the pressure and the touching and the touching and the demand telling me this is normal. It's going to make a man out you. What you get?
They're tennis players. They were tennis players.
So they were in sports.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it. I see Jock in that. I see Jock. They were very good at it. He wanted them to be professional, or the oldest one. Both of them?
Both of them.
I knew it. I knew sports was in it some kind of way because their father was into sports. Their father was like a manly man, like the Marlboro man, like a manly man. Tell me one thing about this case to show me that I can believe everything you are saying to me. That if everyone who's listening, tell me one thing about this that maybe nobody don't know. I hear the father saying, I never touched them like that. I was strict on them. And maybe it was some things, but I never touched them like that. And I'm like, I want to ask, well, what is it like that? What is the light that they know? I love them. But that day, that evening, when I saw my life flash before my eyes, I knew everything that I did was wrong. I just wish they would have saved their mother. I feel exhausted. What do you get out of that?
You sound good.
Sound horrible.
Oh, well, yes, no, that does sound horrible, but the
I
information that
feel
you were
empty.
able to get out of them was some good information.
I am so empty right now, so I'm going to end this.
Well, at least it's a fair reason why their case is being revisited.
Right. I'm worried about the oldest son.
Why the oldest? Right, he didn't take it as hard as the youngest.
No, I feel like the oldest boy, unless I'm getting them mixed up. Because sometimes that happens, like I'm getting feelings for the youngest one, but it's the oldest one, and I'm getting feelings for the oldest one because they so close.
Mm-hmm.
Are they in the same prison? Or did they separate them?
That's a good question. They probably separated them.
I think they together in the same prison. They may not be together, but I see them together in the same prison. They may not be together, but I see they put them in the same prison. Are they?
Oh, yeah, they are in the same prison.
He said that's the one thing that we know. If you didn't know, you know that. Is there something else you can confirm that we can trust that this reading is real? What's the name of the oldest boy?
Lyle.
Lyle. Lyle felt like we could have gotten away with it, but my brother had told. My brother couldn't live with it, and I couldn't be mad with him. My brother was scared. My brother was scared I was going to take him. You know what I mean? It's like it just got bad. It's like my brother started thinking I'm going to betray him, and then I'm starting thinking he's going to betray me, and then it just got like that. And so we just broke, both of us. But when I look back over it now, we were just sheltered kids, sheltered rich kids, bullied by our father, private, and not knowing how to deal with it. Lyle, do you have regret? I did not like my father. I am so sorry I took his life, but I am not sorry he's dead. I feel that the world is a better place without him. You really feel that way? My father was a brute. He loved us, maybe. I didn't feel loved. I felt controlled. Lyle, is there anything back in that time you want to say? I wish I would have did it by myself. I wish I never put my brother in it. Because if I would have done it alone, I could have handled it. I could have gotten away with it. I knew my brother was weak. I knew he couldn't handle it. I know he wanted to, but I know he couldn't. So when it was time to tell, I had no choice because my brother had already told. It was not easy for us. We had split up like angry, It was a dark, dark time. And I knew my brother was struggling. And I knew in my heart that he would tell. But I would have never told. The oldest one felt like I could have dealt with it because he felt like he did the world a favor. However, he would never say that out loud or even admit that to himself. And I hear him saying, but the way that I grew up, if you only knew my dad, he was always finding fault. He was very a hard man. He was bigger than life. He was loved. and people enjoyed him. He was a true businessman. And I envied my father in a sense. I wanted to be like my father, but I just thought he was mean and evil and he needed to be destroyed. If I could do it all over again, I know better. I could have left home. I could have ran away. There was a lot of things I could have done. But at those days, I was so just thinking, I was so filled with my father ways, my father thoughts. That's all it was. He controlled me. And the only way that I know, Lyle speaking, is to get away from the control, is to turn it off, shut it out. My only regret is I told my brother to do it. I should have never put him in it because he couldn't handle it. That's all I gotta say. So should you all be that free? We served our time over. What was the maximum sentence?
I think they were sentenced
To
for
life.
Mm-hmm.
What was that's what I'm getting to. We were sentenced to life. Oh, and I hear him saying, I hear the oldest one saying, and mainly the oldest one saying, we served time for the part that we served. And back in those days, it wasn't like that when you was abused and that.
They were sentenced to life.
Yeah. I didn't know that, but I knew it when they said it. And they saying, but that's our part. We admit we did that. We came clean. We told it. We did what we did, and we told you. For that, we begging the court mercy. Mercy. It was done out of self-defense. Kids not knowing what to do when you're being extremely abused mentally and physically. And you have no one to run to, especially when you got a big father who's big and everybody know him, everybody looking up to him. You can't tell nobody. So we didn't know what to do. And we were limiting our thinkings because our fathers controlled us. So the only way we knew to break free is to take them out. But the oldest one said it wasn't easy. But when it was done, he said that he felt a sense of relief. And as they rolled around, collecting, getting their thoughts together, the youngest one was, in my terminology, a mess. But the oldest one, they both afraid, but they came up with the plan, and they called the police. They would have got away with it, except that they were just out of sorts. They became out of character, and they caused other people around to be suspicious because of their behavior. Everything I say is allegedly. I'm just seeing this. I feel as though that they became, I want to say cocky. They just became doing things they never did. Their behavior wasn't normal for someone who lost their parents. They were acting like they were rejoicing. And it caused people, family, or people of the business, or what, I don't know, but it caused people to wonder, and it was a suspicion because I get the feeling they just went buck wild for a while. But then after you go buck wild for a while, like a month or so, it wasn't fulfilling it. And the hauntings and the realization of what you did start to set in. And then at that point, the money didn't mean anything. And Lyle, I realized if my brother was broken like that, I feel like it was the best thing. And for our part, we're asking leniency for the court because we served our part. And we ask that the judge have mercy and let my dad and my family, even my mother closing her eyes, to hold their part. That's all they're asking. And it seems like it was a different day and a different time. I don't see, they are not apologizing for what they've done, but they're just saying, please, mercy, it was done because we didn't know what else to do. That was it. We had no idea of what else to do and how to handle the case. And that's why they did what they did. And this is why that they're asking the court for mercy. And also, we live in a different day and time. So they will be more lenient because they're looking at it. They're just not looking at us as murderers, but they're looking at the whole story. And it's proof of what we went through. It must be some proof coming in that they can look at the evidence. And because of that, this is why they will be let free. At least that's what it looks like. I always like to say, I can be wrong in everything I said, but this is what I got. And not only that's what I got that they still not 100% sure that this is going to go through. This is why you see the swords. They're in their heads. They want out so bad they could taste freedom. Their lawyer is telling them that they think they can win because it's only fair that they serve their part. And when somebody is being like Cassie, she went years before she got her settlement and justly rewarded. We agree. Yes. And they're saying we served our part. Should we serve life? For we were provoked. We didn't know what to do. Any question? Mm-mm. I'm exhausted. I'm going to go and I'm going to lay down. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. I channeled this. Well, I tranced and channeled. I hope you enjoyed it. Take it as it resonates. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to believe it. But if you know the story or you've been following it, then you know. I don't know. I have not followed them. I didn't find them interesting. I saw them as two murderers. Matter of fact, I didn't know how old they were. I knew nothing. If you want me to be honest, they were like two rich kids. They killed their parents and they should go to jail. They should go to prison and be put in prison and serve their time. I thought manslaughter was 20 years. It was manslaughter. So I felt like they served their 20 years. Should they come out? Or was it just out and out murder? They were charged with murder. And so now I think the sentence look at this. What is manslaughter? I think what is manslaughter? When you kill without in self-defense. Like an accident kind of.
The crime of killing a human being without malice, or otherwise in circumstances not amounting to murder. So basically like an accident. Like you wasn't intending to kill them, but you accidentally killed them.
No, they were, and this was an intent.
Right.
But it was an intent out of fear. It was an intent out of...
So did they kill them out of malice? Because that's also...
Yes, they killed them out of malice, but they killed, yes, definitely. They could say what they want, but the oldest boy, because that's who I get to see. Yes, it was done out of malice, but it was also done out of two boys frightened to death, not knowing how to handle it.
So in that sense, then the manslaughter, or in this case, is a gray area,
right?
Because one kind of was malice, but the other wasn't.
It wasn't. They planned it. They didn't. They planned it. They could say what they want. It planned it, but they planned it from a child's point of view. They planned it from naivete. They planned it, but not understanding the ramifications.
Right. It kind of reminds me of Gypsy Rose. In the sense that she ended her mother's life.
Oh, yes. Gypsy Rose is another one. Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And because Gypsy Rose got out, why can't we get out? It's the same. Mm-hmm. How old was Gypsy Rose when she took out her mom?
Oh, that's a good question. I think she was around the same age.
And it would only be fair. They were kids. When her and Gypsy Rose, her and her boyfriend.
She was 23.
And is her boyfriend still, her boyfriend is still, her boyfriend that did it at the time is still in jail?
Let's find out. Yes, he's still serving a life sentence.
Because he was the one that did it. Let me ask you one question. Did both of them shoot their parents or just one?
That I couldn't find the answer on.
Go to EI and ask EI, at the shooting of the Menendez brothers, did they both do it or did one do it? And that would have been the oldest boy. I think they had a family. I think this man had guns. This is why you don't want the guns in your house.
Exactly.
People get mad. You find anything? I want to read my outcome card. And this is the card that says, should they be free? These are my cards I made for myself.
No, there isn't an exact answer.
See? Because they probably wasn't dealing with stuff back in those days like that. This was back in the 90s. So, it's a different day. We under different things. They looking at kids being abused. And
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
It says, according to court testimonies and confessions, Lyle and Eric together planned and carried out the murders, which with each brother firing shots that ultimately killed their parents.
Yeah.
Their defense argued they acted out of fear due to years of abuse from their father, while the prosecution contended that the murder was driven by a desire for financial gain.
The oldest boy, because it definitely shows that. It was the oldest boy, and even now he still want to prove himself and be financially like his dad, or that's still there. That is still there. And I said that at the beginning. So I didn't know. So you all see that she's reading. We don't lie. There's no reason to sit myself through this. Summers up that man. What's his name? Rodriguez? Their
Menendez.
father. Menendez. Jose said, I'm wondering, was he catnapping? Or was, how you just land? I'm picturing the fact that they were like in a family room or a living room or chilling. Like, I'm feeling that they waited to a time when they were together, when they know that's when they do what they do. Maybe after dinner or something like that. I felt like it was in the evening hours. And I think that they walked in and it was a ruckus. And then when they shoot, it's just a startle. But the father said to me, he said, it's true. When they did it, it was so fast. He knew in his heart that he was paying for what he's done to his kids. Make it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he feel. Let me get it right. When it was done, it was like that was then when he knew I messed up. But it was nothing he could do. His life was taken. And I'm getting this too. It's been years, but I forgive my sons. I want them to forgive themselves. I also he thought he was being a good dad, a hard dad, because hard dad back in those days, you're hard, you're rough. Remember, this was back in the 80s. They grew up in the 80s and the 80s and the 70s. So you got to understand, they probably was born in the 70s, raised in the 80s. They were young, and you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Especially the oldest son, because they were 3 years apart. So they were born in the 70s, and you got to look at the times in which we lived in. And they didn't really have protective right for kids, or not like that, or adults. So where do you go? It's not like somebody said, hey, if you're being abused, call 944-3021. They didn't have that, So And when you raise with limited knowledge and all you have is the knowledge of your mother and your father, what do you do when you're unhappy? Where do you go? Who do you tell when you know you're scared of your dad? And they were abused by their dad. And the dad know it. He's saying to me, when they did it, it was like a jolt to the system. It was so fast, he said, that he knew his apologies or nothing, it was over. And he knew at that point, he knew that he had hurt his boys. That's what I get from the dead. He knew. Do that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Was there nothing he could do about it? In other words, he knew he was paying karma. He just didn't want it for his wife. And she got it because she watched. Not watched, but what they say about the mother. What did they say? What did the mother do? Why did they kill the mother?
It could have been also. It could have been due to the fact she was a stay-at-home mom, so therefore she was around the house or home a lot. So for something like this to transpire underneath her watch.
So why do you think they killed their mother?
Oh, and also because, like you said, she was there right next to him or in the same room. So because of that, collateral damage. Sorry.
And also, right, collateral damage. And another reason, they knew that she would not be able to handle that. So it's like you had to. It's like I'm just trying to say, did it show any way that the mother was abusive to them? Because I'm trying to figure out, why would you take your mother? I guess they saw them as one. You have anything on that?
Oh, let me see.
Well, anyway, as Baby Crone looking it up, I hope, I'm going to give you my outcome card right now. This is the outcome for them. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I feel like I've learned a lot. I feel like,
yeah, you're right. She definitely couldn't have handled that. They said, during the case in the testimony, Kitty, that's her nickname, her real name's Louise, was described as emotionally unstable, neglectful, and sometimes volatile, leading to an environment of emotional neglect and unpredictability.
here it is.
She allegedly struggled with mental health issues and substance abuse.
So they were both, they didn't have no way escape. So she was a victim of circumstances, but she herself was a victim to her husband because he probably was abusing her.
You're probably right.
Can I just summons the mother for one moment? Mm-hmm. What's her name?
Louise Menendez.
Just one moment. I'm just curious. I feel her though. I feel like she's anxious. Louise Menendez. I'm going to say what I hear. You're right. He was abusive to me. He was abusive to me. And back in those days, what rights do women really have? I had 2 boys. I knew that they were unhappy. We all were. It was an unhappy household. Their dad was just strong and he didn't listen and he was just a bully. And I drank. And when I drank, I took my frustrations out on my kids. I loved them, especially, I want to say, little something. What was the young boy name?
Eric.
Little Eric. But she said it's true. I was neglectful. I don't see her beating them like that, but she was neglectful. So she wasn't there, which I figured that she just wasn't there to save them. So they were alone. They had to save themselves the only way they needed to. So when they killed their mother, they knew she was being abused too. So they just put her out her misery. And that's all I got to say about that. Hey, if you know the case, you know the case. I don't. I don't know them boys. When they was born, I was little. I was little with them. I don't know. I don't know. I never followed them. That's back in the 90s, early 90s. I mean, I wasn't into rich kids, and this was a case of a century. But I didn't follow them. You know what I mean? So what I know now. And I'm curious about these things. And when I am finished and I go and rest, I will definitely see if I can find this movie and look at it. But until then, you tell me what you think. What do you think, baby Crone?
Yes, I thought that was an insightful reading.
And that's what intuitive reading is. You only can read from what you're giving information to. That's all I can do. And baby Crone sits with the phone and she goes and look up certain questions that I don't understand. And that's what she do. So let's see the outcome card here. The outcome card, the first card I picked that fell out, it said ring, commitment. So let's see what this is now. The outcome card about their freedom and their well-being. Here we go. Health. It says health. All types of malady. How you say what?
Maladies.
Maladies. And a malady is like sicknesses, not to death, but broken bones, colds, flus, fever, maladies. And then they have diseases, alignment. But the reading of this card is a genetic and inherit. I don't even read my writing. What is that word? Heredity. It's like genetic and heredity, psychological, loss, grief. So what it's saying is they were in a broken home. The card saying that the house was a sick house. The father was sick. The mother was sick. The two boys suffered with depression. They were sick. So it was just living in a power cave. And it said it was sickness in that house, mental sickness. And because of the hidden sickness, that's why their kingdom was torn down, because it was already broken. And the father said, when I summoned him, he said that the same thing was done to him, he did to his kids. But the father also let me know he was way gentle to them than what his father was to him. When that day when it happened, he knew then that, oh my God, that's real. Like, oh my God, like I was as rude as my father, but it was too late. You can say, I'll do better, but it's done. He saw the rage. He died knowing their hate for him. She died. No, that's sad to me.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a brutal death. So let's see if I can get another card, one more, because it's two of them. Then I hear warm. And this is from the young boy, because I read one for the oldest one. This is for the young boy. The boy feeling happy, good news, things going well, staying steady, keep balance. This is the page as we were young. And I see that please judge us. We're not saying that we didn't do anything wrong. We are men now, and we will never do that again. And we are sorry. And we feel as they're saying to the court, have mercy, because what was done to us, it is just not fair. I feel as though the lawyer is saying it is not fair for them father to be victimizing them like that. And they done served 35 years. What more do you want? Their father may be dead, but he deserved what he got. The kids deserve another chance. And they lived in this abusive environment. And I can truly say that it was very abusive. Now, I finished my read. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to definitely go and lay down because this wiped me out. Whew. So I hope you enjoyed this read. Take what you can, believe what you can, believe what you want. But there are people who can go in and see things, and I'm one of those people. Like I said, it's intuitive. You may say, how you do it? It talks. You just hear talking. It's talking. It's like you living it. It's like you there. You're there in a darkened place. You know how you walking, you're moving, but it's shadow, not dark, but shadowy. So you're seeing things, but it's shadowy seeing, and you're getting bits and pieces and words, and that's what I see. And that's what I was able to mount it up with. And the cards help to see things a little bit better too. Was this a good reading?
Yes, it was.
And with that being said, I know this was long, but we went in. I really went in. I hope you enjoyed this reading as I use and practice my ESP. I thank you for joining us. If you happen to enjoy this at any way, thumbs up. Anything that you want to say, please be kind and leave it down below. Remember, I'm practicing. I'm not practicing because I don't know. I'm practicing how to maneuver. Like, how can I do this and not feel so exhausted? I need to learn. And thank you for joining us. Sunflowers.